Hi, Susan.
Hi, Lynn.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You guys, if you watched the Late Night Mom Show, you recognize Susan from all of season two. I forced her to give us all
Oh,
of
no.
her tips. But as I was saying, look at this hat right here. If you guys see this hat, Susan is the one who got this for Ethan for his birthday, but it didn't fit his head because he's a big old head. So then now it fits the tree. See, so
It fits
cute.
the tree, yeah.
But
Yeah, it's in lieu of a star.
right, and I like
Uh,
it like that because
hmm,
my point was I didn't want anything too normal, it's not really
well,
my brand to have
well, the
everything picture
shark hat
perfect.
is definitely not normal. So, I mean,
But I wanted to say because we're talking about 2020 in review and we're
yeah.
because it's my birthday's in like 3 weeks, which is really cool. But and once this episode's coming out Monday already.
Oh,
You're
cool.
kicking us off. Okay. But the thing is with Ethan, um he watches the videos, like he watches TV and he watches YouTube and he sees the picture perfect stuff. And he has friends. He goes to his friend's house and they have a big place with a nice tree. But for whatever reason, he doesn't ask me for that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think it's super cool. Like
Yeah.
that he listen, I'm not a parent. I'm not gonna give you some, the kid psychology
You're
chat.
right, right.
But I'm trying to think back when I was a kid. We
Yeah.
didn't have a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, because of all our money problems back then, I've got,
Hmm.
I'm coming out of some amazing money problems myself and trying to figure it out. But that I digress. But I don't think we ever really wanted for anything. Like we were just
Interesting.
happy, right? Like
Yeah.
right, like yeah, like my parents gave me, what they gave me and created like a fun space for us. And so
Right.
yeah.
Because you know what? That's crazy because you're right. You're right, Susan. You're bringing up stuff for me, like she always does. Every time I talk to Susan, I have some sort of mini breakthrough or something. But like which again, she's a life coach, health coach, wellness coach, all of it.
I'm a coach
So
coach.
if you ever for those purposes, you can reach out to her. But what was I gonna? Yeah, when I was little, I saw on Full House and Family Matters and The Cosby Show the picture perfect tree and all that stuff.
Right.
But my parents weren't like that, and I think the most important thing was that they were there. The most important thing was that my
Yeah.
parents were there. They loved me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, totally. Like
Hmm.
my dad worked a lot, so my mom kind of ran the household, and
Yeah.
she gave us like in an environment, regardless if it was the holidays or not, a place to be kids and freedom. We did kind of take a little bit of advantage of it,
Hmm.
like, and we really messed the place up as much as we possibly could.
Right.
But like we always knew that and the reason why a lot of the neighborhood kids hung out at our place and outside is because my mom gave that to us. I mean, that
Yeah.
was like the best thing ever. So as far as Christmas and we celebrated Hanukkah, or we didn't really celebrate it, but that would have been that's we grew up Jewish,
Yeah.
but we didn't really care so much about that.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, and maybe some due to the fact that we didn't celebrate Christmas, and so everything was Merry Christmas, all Christmas decorations everywhere you went, and there was really very little acknowledgement about Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who really needs the holidays anyhow? I can't wait for this
Ah.
crap to just be over with, and move on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was a good life, and a lot of riches without money.
Yeah, this is true.
Absolutely.
Again, I always say, like, all the extra stuff is really for the parents' ego at the end of the day. Like, we
Maybe
think it's for
so.
the
Yeah.
kid, we think it's for the
Yeah.
kid, but they don't care. Look at my
Yeah.
son's happy with this.
Yeah.
And these
Oh,
99-cent store stockings.
adorable. Right. Isn't
You
that
know what I
great?
mean?
Isn't that great?
He's happy with that.
It's new, it's different, it's fun.
Yeah.
It brightens up, they're like, wow, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Right. Right. I mean, I'm
And
getting excited looking at
right,
that.
right.
And
But you
I'm
know
like,
what? And
man,
it doesn't, and I'm not taking away from anyone who likes to do the big things because, like I always say, if I had the money,
yeah.
my place would be throwing up Christmas.
Right.
It would just be the most obnoxious, expensive things, and I'd buy
That's
my
hilarious.
friends
That's right,
expensive
right,
things.
right.
My friends would be like, "What a show off! Like, why do you have to spend this much money?" Like, that's if I had the money, I would do that, but I don't. So this is what
Gotcha.
we live with, and we're happy with. You
It's
know?
great, yeah. And
Yeah,
you create that really cool vibe for your kid, and
yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but he looks like one happy, awesome kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
yeah.
Susan and I, so we met in a comedy class. Like the first thing I was like, "Oh, Susan, you're so pretty," because I mean, look at her, you know. Like I was like, "She's
Yeah.
so pretty," but I knew you were lesbian, but
Listen, you
I'm
didn't
not a
say you
lesbian.
said pretty, but the first thing you said, if you
What I
don't mind
say?
me,
What I say?
well, well, maybe not that night, but I remember I walked in once. You're like, wow, you look so hot.
She
I'm like,
does. She does look hot because
oh,
she's
that's
fit and tall and like. And I was like, and my favorites. I'm telling you, my favorites are tomboy lesbians. They're my favorite people. You know,
well.
because I don't know. I just get a mixture of boy and girl in one person, and
You
it's
know what?
fun.
That's so, and that's kind of how I feel about my, like, that's kind of
Yeah.
how I feel like I roll. I could be ultra feminine if I so choose to be, but
Right.
I kind of have like this domineering side to my personality, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Anytime I ever saw like a woman that I felt that I thought was attractive, I mean, that would just that must have been my testosterone, right?
Yeah.
That domineering piece, right? Just kind of coming to the surface, and all of a sudden, all of the my little je ne sais quoi, or
Yeah.
my charisma, like everything was like, "Oh, I got to use some good stuff over here.
Yeah.
But
Because
uh,
I don't see Susan being courted. I just learned that
yeah,
word courted from my friend, but I don't see
yeah.
any. I see you being the one to get what you want. You know, being more the,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, I certainly tried.
yeah,
I did. It was fun. It was fun coming out and exploring, being a gay woman. It
yeah.
really, really, really was. I, I had it. Not that I had it pretty good, but you know, I came out. I went through all the back and forth with my mom. It was a tough transition for her.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, but one, I had, but the wanting to be independent and feel liberated and
Mm.
living my truth. I hate to use that expression because it's
But I
so
mean, it is.
overused, right? It sounds
Yeah.
so cliche. And I'm a health and wellness coach. You think that I would love to use that stuff, but not really. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that was such an amazing time in my life,
Yeah.
to do that, and to just, you know, experiment with, just being out there as a lesbian, asking a woman to dance,
Yeah.
versus
Oh.
sitting around, playing that game with guys, or waiting, or
Mm.
whatever.
Right. Right. Right.
It just wasn't for
The
me.
stereotypical stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
totally, totally. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't imagine that. Can you imagine Susan just with long, wavy hair and her
yeah.
French manicure, waiting for a man to ask her to dance?
Oh, damn! I'll tell you, it's funny because Yvonne, my girlfriend, she said, oh, Susan, she said, you wore so much makeup. Like, she saw pictures of me, like pictures. And I did. I mean,
Really?
I wore, yeah, of course. Listen, I'm a Jewish woman's daughter. It almost goes along with the
Yeah.
sorry, well, it almost goes along with the territory, that you'd have the blush, the eyeliner, the lipstick,
Yeah.
and my hair was probably down to here, but it was, uh, I met Yvonne with long hair, but it was rock and roll hair. I mean, it was
Nice.
like Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin kind of
Yeah.
hair.
Nice.
Very, very cool, really awesome. And
And
I kind of missed
Vaughn
that.
is her current live-in wifey right now. Wifey, not wife.
Yeah,
Wifey.
yeah. 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 Yep. 13,
Yeah.
13 years. Yeah. 13
Yeah.
years.
She's awesome too. She's a really, really good human being.
She is a good soul and a
Mm-hmm.
nice, great gal. Yeah. And we met online, which is really kind of cool. And
Aw.
it makes so much sense that I would meet somebody online and venture out here from Boston
Aw.
to
I
LA.
know. I know.
Yeah.
We're glad you're in LA.
Yeah.
But speaking of our moms, it's crazy because we didn't know this when we first met, but when Susan and I started talking more, like we realized that our moms, the story of our mom's passing is very similar because your mom had a stroke and she passed away during Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The week of.
Right.
Yep.
My mom had a stroke the week of Christmas.
Wow.
So it was like it's very like similar, and I was like, "What?" And then when she describes her mom, I'm like, "That sounds like my mom," because our moms would be at like every show
Yeah.
with
Funny.
the T-shirt and
Yeah. Oh, yes.
the megaphones. You know, that's our mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd be like, I'm the manager. I'm gonna be over here right at the front wall, right, like that. Like,
My daughter's performing. My daughter's
yes,
performing. I'm going to the
yes,
front.
yes, yeah, yeah, so
Yeah.
true.
So that was really. It's just I say that because it's interesting how life works that way.
Mm,
Kind of like we're
yeah,
talking about 2020. Like Susan, we call each other COVID sisters because we wouldn't have survived this, I don't think,
yeah,
without having
yeah.
each other to like talk to and bounce ideas off of. And
Who needed to go out
right.
when I had you
Yeah.
to bounce everything off of literally for like
Yeah.
2 hours, man. It would be a
Right.
right, 2 hour conversation, like amazing.
And it'd be the same thing every because it'd be like 4:30, 4 o'clock, and then Susan would say, "Okay, I gotta go clean the bathroom before you want to get." So
Yeah,
it'd
yeah,
be the same
totally. Yeah, that's
every
so right.
day. But
Yeah,
but that just goes to show for anybody watching, like people complain a lot about virtual and they complain a lot about not being able to see people and stuff like that. But it's possible to build relationship virtually. You know what I mean? It's possible to stay
yes,
connected and through text or through
yeah.
emails or whatever.
Yeah, you know what ruins relationships is actually meeting in person. That's what kills it. It's like, could you imagine you meet somebody over the telephone, you don't know what they look like, right?
Yeah,
You don't know anything, but you're so drawn to their personality and you talk all the time. Like
right.
like you make that call before you fall asleep. Hey, just wanted to
Yeah.
say hi. And you go back,
Aw.
forth, back, forth, back. And then like you're literally falling in love with this person. And then you meet, and honestly, that ruins everything.
I know. I've had
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I wonder if anybody could live their life like that, having a
Forever.
phone call relationship, be like absolutely madly in love and find that satisfying. I don't know where this crap is coming from, but
From personal experience. But
anyhow,
see, I've had the other thing. I've had an opposite where I've had bad conversation on the phone, but then I would give them a chance because they're good looking or whatever.
yeah,
And I would
right,
go, I
right,
would go
right.
meet
Gotcha,
with them,
gotcha,
hoping
gotcha.
that
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah,
we connect better in person. Maybe they're just not a phone person. Some people don't
yeah,
like phones,
yeah.
but it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's such a good point though. Like, whatever.
So
Uh,
what has 2020 taught you about yourself?
ooh, 2020 has taught me that I was okay
Mm,
with the I, I was okay with not being, not having the ability to have like all the social stuff,
mm,
right? I was okay with it. It made me think a little bit that I'm not introverted. I'm not an
mm,
introvert, but there is that side of me that I don't need to be out in the out in the open. I don't need to have all this stuff going on to make myself feel okay about things. I was
mm,
good just kind of going with the flow and stuff like that. Granted, I have a partner,
mm.
right? A partner. That would be partner for those of you that don't know it from Boston. I'm not doing that again because it's painful to talk like that. I can't.
Cotton.
Yeah, but really, I was okay with it. And it also gave me an opportunity to, again, I'm going to use like a cliche word that's come up
Yeah.
over COVID, but a reset.
Mm.
I could like really take a look at all the things that were on my plate, what the heck needed to stay on my plate, what needed to get the heck out off my plate that really was not of a concern. And
Mm.
and I think a lot of that does come with age. I'm a little bit older,
Yeah.
so what I thought was important absolutely is not. But going into the future now with less years to live
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
a lot of other people, I want to do those things that really are more of a priority for me. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
But
one
it
of them
doesn't.
was, oh, go ahead, yeah.
I was thinking about the age thing because at first the same thing popped in my head. Maybe because we're older, so it's okay for us to stay home. Would it be the same if we were 25? But
Right.
the other thing that popped in my head was look at the news at some of these people that go out and are like open hair salons because it's essential. They're fucking 70. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it comes down to, I guess, age does help, but the mindset, right? It's your mindset that because you come from a very positive, and that doesn't mean we're all woo woo all the time because we have shitty
Right.
days. It's normal. We have
Totally.
shitty days, but
Right.
overall, you can always come back to being positive and making the most out of what you have, which is
So,
that's
of
you know,
course, I mean,
yeah.
without those shitty days, we wouldn't even know a good day if it hit us in the face. So, those challenges, those crappy days are really just a more of a, they're more positive than we know, right? Because it's an
For sure.
opportunity to be like, all right, how can I make this better? How can I move away from this? And,
Yeah.
and woo, woo, woo.
Wouldn't you say that's a muscle that we built over the years to know that
Yeah,
the shitty days, like
yeah.
I'm crying in the shower, and then I'm like, you know what, something good is coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's good. It's all normal. I mean, look at we're made up of, especially if we're made up of hormones, man. We gotta cry. We gotta let it out. You
we
know.
gotta let it out.
Yeah.
What is your what's the most challenging part for you of 2020?
Um. The most challenging part is that years ago, I always saw myself as like this, a businesswoman,
Mm,
doing many different things and being able to handle it with some grace, right?
mm,
So one of the things that I figured out in my little reset when all this stuff started going down was that I want to start my own business again.
mm,
But I want to put together my 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 comedic side along with my being a health, wellness, and life coach.
mm,
I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm ready. So what I did was I sought out a business coach for myself. And it took me a little bit of time to get to that business coach, but I finally found the one that I really jived with. It felt like a good fit. So this particular coach is lovely, awesome.
mm,
Anyhow, so the most challenging thing I'm finding is all right, I asked for it. I saw
mm,
myself being in this place years ago, and now
mm.
I'm ready to make some of those moves. It is scary as shit because I'm thinking about uh, because I've like the closer you get to success, the tighter the
Yeah,
tighter the strain becomes. Then you
yeah,
stop being like, oh, don't do it. You don't want to fail. Like I have that critter brain you and I talked about, talking
yeah,
all that negative stuff to me. Oh, Susan, why would you put yourself through all this stress? Just stay where you are. Everything will be okay. I kept, I put blinders on and I just kept taking a step forward and uncomfortable because I was doing things that I wasn't used to doing.
mm.
One being social media. All right,
Yeah,
social
yeah,
media. Like I can't continue in the long term.
mhm,
If I want to get to a particular place, I can't continue to do a word of mouth advertising.
right, yeah,
Right. I can if I want to just do like very, very, very part-time coaching.
mhm,
I could do that, but that part-time coaching is not a part of my overall big goals. So
mhm,
I really had to like step it up, do some soul searching, check out the mindset, and really work with my coach and just continue to make you know, finding myself in tearing myself out of my
Mhm.
comfort zone and just being stretched to the max.
Right. I feel like you're doing all the right things though, because I always tell people if they're not interested, like you don't have this passion and interest for being really good at Instagram, right? That's not where you're not.
No, I don't have a
Okay.
passion to be good at any of that social media stuff.
Right.
That's why I hired someone.
Exactly. Which is
Yeah,
why I always tell people if you can afford to fork out a couple hundred or however much hundred you can
yeah,
afford,
yeah,
hire someone to do it.
yeah,
Because then you can use that time
yeah,
to do other things with your
yeah.
life. If you're
And
not,
and
you know.
and that's right. And you said it. Now, and once you start with that project in life, whether it's weight loss, whether it's
Mhm.
doing a new business, it's not like a one-time deal. Oh, good,
Mhm.
I completed that. We're good. I can just coast. You
No.
have to keep. So if you really want to get to the max in business, you have to continue on paying people to do things for you.
Yep.
But if you're in business, really in business means that you're making money from it.
Mhm.
Anybody can launch a business, but if you don't have income, then it's really not a business yet. You know what I'm saying? But so, right? I mean,
Right.
right? So if that's a goal is to make income and to, you have a money goal,
Uh-huh.
you have to keep it going. You have to keep it going
Yeah,
and trusting that you're doing the right thing. And the expense is much more, is worth so much more than not spending it to not advance.
for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you like, so for example, I don't have the luxury of paying anybody to do things, right? So either I have to ask someone to do me a favor, or I just have to learn things myself. You just have to learn it. And in the process of
Yeah.
learning it, like
Yeah.
for me, learning how to edit, learning how to do all these things, it taught me what I absolutely hate.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
It teaches you, like, oh
Yeah.
man, I don't ever want to do this. And then you have more of a vision, like, okay, I can't wait till I have enough money to hire a housekeeper, hire an editor, hire,
Ah,
so then
yeah.
you have more of a vision. But try it at
Yeah.
least. The thing of I don't know how to do it is really not that much of an excuse for me. You just got to
Well,
figure it out. Like ask
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Susan's asked me
Yeah.
a million times how to upload her videos onto Google Drive, but you just got to keep asking.
So
I was like, Susan,
true.
write it on a post-it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you learn how you learn, and then all of a sudden it kind of hits you one day like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But you just got to
Oh,
keep doing it. Like,
you do.
because
You
we're fortunate enough to have Google and YouTube and whatever, so
Yeah.
we can learn
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And and I understand because I hate researching.
Yeah.
Like I just want to ask someone who knows the answer and then they just tell me and that's it. Easy. But like some people,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I always ask. I
Yeah.
drive people crazy all the time asking about
No, but
dumb
it's
things.
you got to keep. But yeah, well, I there's so much to that. I mean, forget it. We don't have a few hours right now. We could get into it, but it's
Yeah.
so true. And I actually really have achieved some really cool results just because I am determined to continue to move forward.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that there aren't more challenges? Oh, the more success you get,
Hmm.
even though they're like little baby step successes,
Yeah.
the more you get, um, the more challenging it becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge, the feeling of discomfort, the feeling of being stretched doesn't go away. I mean, it
Mm.
stays, it stays. So, but you build up, like you said earlier, like we talked about building certain muscles.
Hmm.
There are emotional muscles.
Yeah.
That's, what I'm referencing, right? Is you've got to
Yeah.
build those emotional muscles, not just the physical, bicep from doing a curl. It's, you got to do the emotional curl over and
Yeah.
over again to keep it going forward. Yeah, it's
But
wow.
see, because then when I was talking to my friend yesterday, I said I'm not here to take away or belittle what really is going on in the world and the sicknesses and people passing away, etc. But we just have to not. I don't like to wallow in it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you acknowledge it and you're aware of it, but that doesn't mean you have to wallow in it. So that's why
Right.
I'm asking my friends, like, what did you accomplish this year, and what
Yeah.
came out of it, and what good, and what
Oh,
challenges you had? Because really, like, I feel like at the end of the day, it really starts with us at home. We
I
can't control anyone else.
I agree.
We
And
can't.
I
Yeah.
I so agree. And I can find myself in some pretty dark
Yeah.
spaces. And when I'm feeling that crappy feeling, like that
Mhm.
feeling of dread, um, in the morning when I open my eyes, I have to sometimes force myself to say, and this is totally woo-woo, totally woo.
Yeah, yeah.
I force myself to say and to put I literally get myself into that mindset and I say, Susan, this is gonna be the best day ever.
Mm.
Period. End. And I get out of bed. I make sure I make that bed, and
Uh-huh.
I move forward. And you know what?
Yeah.
I've my I completely believe that what doing that like that positive affirmation is the difference between success and failure
Mm.
in
Yeah.
in life in general, but that for that day especially. And it
Wow.
always works out. It always
Yeah.
works out. The days that I don't have those conversations, when I show up being pissy and want
Mhm.
to blame and don't want to take responsibility and finding fault and being judgmental,
Mhm.
oh, those are the days that my bed is sloppy, my world is sloppy, everything I do
Mm.
is kind of like, difficult. But when you're positive and you can put a smile on inside your brain and right, then things show up, like things happen, like, wow, I didn't get caught at that red light, and
Mhm.
oh my goodness, that person let me in, and
Mm.
you know, other like small but very significant things take place that really
Mhm.
do kind of go along with being happy and positive.
And you know what? And there's a thing too that Susan sees those things as a happy thing. You know what I mean? Like some people, you don't you run into every green light and it's a go the whole time. Somebody let you cut in front of them in a grocery store. Somebody reached up at the top shelf and got something for you. They don't see those things as anything positive. They're just like, ah, yeah, whatever. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see that it's a positive thing, and you got to count those little
You
things.
do. It's
Yeah.
because those are the ones that just kind of build
Right.
because if you don't see the little things, you're not going to see the bigger things. I feel like that's really like such a plus. Here's a key, one of the keys to that though. Like, let's say you're cruising down the road and someone cuts in front of you and messes up like your game plan, right?
Mhm.
That's the time where you really want to say to yourself, I'm I'm patient. They didn't
Mm.
do anything to me personally. That's their prerogative. They've got nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
Usually I'd be like, son of a B. I can't believe it. I almost had the front spot at the red light. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's going to screw up my timing. I really work on that
Yeah.
thought because it's when the chips are down, when things are appearing that they could be negative, that's when being positive and relaxing about it and trying to, not be all
Yeah.
pissy and, shot out of a cannon. And then I'm telling you, it's miraculous, but it does turn around quickly.
Yeah. You know, my solution for everybody who finds himself in road rage a lot
Yeah.
is to just give yourself a lot of time. Don't run late.
I mean, that is just too practical, Lynn. That I remember when I lived on Cape Cod, and I was probably about maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes from work, right?
Uh-huh.
And I would travel on an interstate. It was a main drag, very very busy, road, and I never gave myself enough time ever. Like I would leave if I was 20 minutes away, I would leave 20 minutes prior.
Yeah.
Right. And so anytime there was a red light or somebody was driving not fast enough for
Yeah.
Susie,
Yeah.
they are the a-holes. They're
Right.
doing that on purpose. Everyone is being a jerk to me.
You. Yeah, yeah.
And then what would happen is it was the domino effect. I'd
Yeah.
get to work now, a bartender, right? A bartender. I
Yeah.
would jump behind the bar and I'd hear somebody say, "Hey, Wolfie," my last name is Wolf.
Mhm.
"Hey, Wolfie, you're here. Great to see you." And this is me. Jesus, can't they give me a minute to just come into my own? Like, do you have to bother me right away? Ugh.
They're
Yeah,
just being nice. Yeah, yeah,
totally, totally. And
yeah.
once I like woke up and thought, maybe I should just leave 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
And that's right. Yeah.
It's
And
right. I
that
mean,
changed things.
and then when I am upset, let's say I'm on the road and I'm upset that someone's not going fast enough, which is rare because I usually drive really slow. But when someone is like not going, and I always go, oh wait, it's nobody's fault that I'm late.
Yeah.
I made myself late.
Yeah.
So, and I don't like the stress of driving. So then
Mm,
I like to cruise. I like to just
mm.
enjoy myself. You know,
That is right. That is so
driving is
true.
meditative. Like
Yeah.
I meditate, I listen to my music, I talk to my son, I
I
use
love
that
that.
as quality time.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
really
like,
good.
and my son's like, Mommy, can you go faster? I'm like,
Oh, that's great.
no,
No, I'm meditating.
this is my peaceful time.
Yeah.
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to drive to like, you know, what do you call
Right.
it? I'm not trying to weave through people and all that stuff. Why?
Right.
Why? You know what? Once I became a mom, I was like,
Isn't
that's
that
that's
great?
all the stress I need.
That's
I don't
probably
need.
really, that's seriously like really probably a great place for people to learn those skills because
Yeah,
driving it can be so dangerous,
yeah.
right? And everyone is out there in road rage. It's like,
Mhm.
I think that's really,
Yeah, you'll find me in the right lane just chilling. And when
yeah,
people get mad at me in the right lane, I'm like, listen, I'm in my
yeah,
place.
yeah,
You need to go around. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know why you're mad at me. You're in the slow lane,
Right, right. Oh,
right?
that's hilarious. Yeah, it's so true. My
Like,
gosh.
yeah. If I was in the left lane going slow, then
Yeah.
yeah, of course, get mad at me. I'll change lanes.
Hey, what about when you're like at a supermarket, right? And or any place where you have someone like in customer service, they're going to take care of you. And let's say you're using the charge machine, but it's slow because of whatever reason.
Right.
And the customer service person says, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that it's taking so long." And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Well, it's only been 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't have 5 seconds, if I don't have an extra minute," I said, it's okay. I'd say, You relax. I'm good. This is part of
Yeah.
life."
Yeah.
They would be like, "Oh my God, I wish others could be like you."
Yeah.
I said,
Right, right.
"Yes, I know. I am special." But
Yeah.
no, all kidding aside, though, we're all in this like hurry up and
Yeah.
go nowhere mode. Like, geez,
Right. Right.
unbelievable. Yeah.
It does bother me though when customer service people, so if it's the machine and something beyond your control, that's one thing. But
Right.
if
Oh,
they're slow, that's a
oh,
different story. Like, you
true
work in
that.
customer service, you don't have the luxury of taking your time.
Yeah.
Because we come
Right.
from a restaurant industry. Can you imagine as a bartender
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
your time?
Yeah, but I would take my time though with the individual because I never wanted
Right.
anybody to be rushed. And you could see people vying for my attention because it would be like
Yeah.
3 deep, 4 deep. And you could see like some like guy would be like, all up in my grill waiting for his turn. And then as soon as it was his turn, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he's like, and so I would interact with him, right? Because everyone gets equal time. Like
He's
kind
so
of that's
see how nice he is. I'm not like that in the bar. I'm not. But then see, people don't tip me for being nice. They tip me for being efficient.
True. Well, I was trying to be a
Yeah.
combination of all of the
Right.
above,
Yeah. Yeah.
man. All of the above.
Because
Uh,
everybody in the service industry makes their tips in different ways.
yeah,
There's some
yeah,
servers that will only turn 5 tables the whole shift.
yeah,
But that's how they make their tip. They want to
yeah,
talk to the kid, they want to talk to the husband, the wife,
yeah,
find out where they are. For me, I'm just like, you got an hour lunch, I'm gonna get you out of here in 30 minutes.
yeah.
We're
Oh, well,
flipping
true
these
that. When
tables,
someone communicates to me, boom,
Mhm.
you're in, you're out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
But I mean,
love those.
I love. You kidding me? Of
Like,
course.
the thing is, I have a friendly face.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
smiling, I have a friendly face, but I'm really
yeah.
not that friendly. Like, I'm really not. So people like in the restaurant, they learn that quick because when I go to the table, I seem friendly. They want to take forever and talk to me. But then I'm like, do you see this full restaurant?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to you for that long.
Right there. Right, 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 right. A
It's
lot of people.
terrible.
Yeah, it's so much. It's actually really interesting, man. Oh my gosh. I, I mean, there were times people would be like, "Oh, can you like?" I would cut corners in the restaurant business. There was no doubt
Yeah.
I would cut corners. Like if somebody wanted which was not popular, was they'd want decaf coffee.
Oh
Decaf. All right,
God.
I'm thinking, all right, I'll get you some decaf. So I'd go to the coffee machine and there'd be a full pot of regular. Decaf was like mud. There was like nothing left. So I'm like,
Yeah.
screw it. I am not making decaf, but I wanted this person to get the hell out of here. So I'd get a cup and I would fill it maybe a fourth of the way with the regular coffee and the rest hot water. Boom. And just
That's
enjoy.
what it's the same thing.
It's the
It's the
same
same
thing.
thing. Yeah.
I used to do it with soda. They would say, can you get me a ginger ale? And
Yeah.
the ginger ale would be like completely out, and like you have to go out, you got to go to the
Yep.
walk-in, you got to change the keg. I'm like,
Yep.
F that, I ain't doing it. So I would do a Sprite with a tiny little splash of Coke.
Right.
Saying, boom, here's your ginger ale. I,
I've done that before, and I guess was like,
please don't hold any of this against me. All right. Yeah.
But you know what? You guys have to know, like, you're gonna get what you. So we're talking about the service industry. What bothers me is when people come to a restaurant that they're paying $10 to $15 per plate,
Yeah.
and they expect to be treated the way they would if they're spending $100 a steak. You're not gonna get the same. It's just not. And here's the reason why. Not because we don't care about you. It's not because we don't care about you. It's
Right.
because it's a turn and burn restaurant. You're just gonna have to know
Right.
that.
Right.
Like if you're paying $100, of course you're gonna sit there because your check will come out to $300
Right.
per hour or hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever you're sitting there. You're gonna tip 60%, 60%, 20%.
$60, right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna make so.
Yeah.
The thing is, so don't go to a restaurant where you're spending $10 to $15 a plate, expecting to get $100 a plate service.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just not. And here's another thing: behind the scenes stuff. You don't get trained that way.
Yeah.
The servers don't get trained that way.
Yeah.
Because I've worked in expensive dining before, and the training is vigorous. Like the training is like so intense. It's huge. You go to you go to Applebee's, the training is like.
Listen, I've eaten at I was gonna say Mel's Diner. Not Mel's. I forget the name. Norm's.
Mm-hmm.
Great, good comfort food. It is what it is. Perfect.
Yeah.
You turn them. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then I've eaten at other places where it is, a pork chop for $45.
Right.
It's and the training is
immaculate.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're taking their time. I mean, in the dining room, they're taking their time, and it looks like they're, but in behind the scenes, the manager is still going, pick up the foot pace and work faster.
That's
and
right, man.
They're still saying the same things. You just don't see it the way you see it at a Denny's.
Yeah.
But see, that's for, I'm very mindful of that because I work in the industry.
Yeah.
For so long. But I get that some people. There's this one. I worked at an Applebee's, and the one family was like, "Excuse me, why is our food taking so long?" And Susan, I said, "They have to cook it for you, sir." I said that. And he complained about me to the manager. He was like, "Yeah, but he complained." He was like, "I'm taking my family out for a nice dinner at Applebee's, and my waitress told me that you guys had to cook my food. That's why it's taking so long." And I was like, "But
yeah,
I could lie to you and be like, let me go back there and rush them." When I'm not rushing
but you
them.
work for Applebee's. It's not like they could fire you. There's a protocol how many times that you can get complained about. Right.
But what always
it's
what always saved my ass from being fired was that I was always a really good restaurant worker. I was always really good.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, we can fire her, but then we have to train a whole new person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to weigh that shit out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So But anyway, why are we talking about the restaurant industry?
I know. It's like I'm a health coach. I'm like, hey, can we just talk about restaurants a little bit more? That's so fantastic.
You know why? This is our past life. We haven't done this in a while.
No kidding.
Since Corona happened,
I
haven't worked. My restaurant doesn't have a patio or a parking lot. So they just do all takeout dining and takeout orders, and there's no room for all of us. But it's been a blessing for me. I mean, I didn't have a rough 2020.
Yeah, I thrived. I thrived in 2020. I mean, I had my issues, but I know how to, the best I can is bounce and know how to keep my emotional wit about me and move forward. I mean, I lost my entire dog walking business with exception of, a couple of clients. So. But.
And I'm actually very grateful for the extra unemployment that we got and stuff like that, it really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
It helped. Like,
Yeah.
I know that, some people were like, oh, but the amount is too low and whatever. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's helped, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be grateful for it
Totally.
because
Totally.
because it's helping.
Yeah. I can tell you, I used it most of my most of my money with, you know, a lot of it went to obviously rent and stuff.
Yeah.
It was there was nothing. It went to all food. Everything was food. I
Yeah.
see Trader Joe's is right down my bank account. Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's, Target, 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 Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's, Trader
Yeah.
Joe's, Trader Joe's, Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is food. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, yeah.
And because of that, I got to build a home for me and my son, which is a huge deal because
Oh,
my son and
very
I
cool.
we didn't have our
Very,
own
very
place
cool.
for 3.5 years. So now that we
Oof.
did, I got to buy, like, our little futon and
Yeah,
TV and his toys
yeah,
and stuff like that and build a home, which
yeah.
I am very grateful for, because if
I
it
bet.
wasn't for that, we'd be sitting on the floor.
Yeah,
Seriously, because I don't
yeah.
have, I mean, I'm a waitress.
Well, you're in such a
So
better environment.
yeah,
You have freedom. I mean, you have your own space. It's your own private Idaho, man. It's like you just do what you
yeah,
want, and your child has freedom, and he's a kid and he can be a kid, and just
yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, awesome.
The I feel like 2020 also is teaching us, if you're open to learning this, not you, but the people in general,
Yeah,
um, is that it teaches you to just look at yourself.
yeah,
Just face yourself,
yeah,
like sit still and face all the bullshit things about you, and then
yeah.
work through it. That's what
Yeah, work through
2020
it.
is giving you. And
Yeah,
then the simplicity, like,
yeah,
appreciate the simple things, like staying at
yeah,
home and
yeah,
zooming with your friend and having
yeah.
coffee and not rushing to work, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I agree. I think we all need to just kind of take responsibility for where we are in life. Stop blaming COVID. Stop blaming COVID. We're nine
yeah.
months in. We're
I
9 months
mean,
in.
COVID is shitty, but
It is
don't
shitty,
blame it. Yeah.
are you kidding me? I cry for people that are sick,
Yeah.
who have lost loved ones,
Hmm.
who are ill from this. It is scary as shit. Okay, I'm 58 years old, and God forbid, don't I wear my mask all the time. I'm never in a situation where there are tons of people, even with a mask, because the medical hospitals don't have beds, right? Like
Unless you're Ellen DeGeneres, and Ellen
well, then
DeGeneres
you have the
talks about.
hospital come to you. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's right.
But until
That's right.
then, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's
But
right.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
So
don't have hospitals. Yeah.
so I mean, I feel bad for that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But then there's the other part of it where how do I move forward and try to make the best of my life in the situation that I cannot control? So I'm not going to bitch about it, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
moan about it, because that just tears away any goodness that I have to put towards something that could really help me.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to learn how to pivot a little in situations. You just do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound like I'm some, like I'm so fantastic, or that I'm not different really than anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't have zillions of dollars.
Hmm.
But I do know that if I can stay positive, that's 9/10 of the deal. That's the mindset is absolutely everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe that. I
I
believe.
agree. I agree. I'm gonna say something that's kind of unpopular, but this is what happens when I talk to
Oh,
Susan.
you've never done that before.
But that's only between me and Susan. I'm just gonna say it out loud
Okay.
though.
Okay.
So when it comes time to, okay, this is what I always think. Like, this is why I don't express a lot how much I'm actually financially struggling when I am, because in my mindset, okay, I'm financially struggling, and anybody out there who's financially struggling, I get it. I'm a single mom. I get no other help, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing: I tell myself it's nobody else's fault that I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's struggling. You know what I mean? It's not the
Yeah.
government's fault. It's not my job's fault. It's not
Yeah.
the baby daddy's fault.
Yeah.
It's me. I get to control my finances. I control, every what I can control. Things
Yeah.
beyond my control, it's different, like COVID, right? But
Right.
so that's what I tell myself. And when you tell yourself that, then you're more like, okay, well then what can I do to fix this then?
Right. It's called taking
versus
responsibility. It's
right.
just being responsible.
Yeah. And I know that's
Responsible.
not a popular thing because
Well,
I don't like being poor and I don't like it when people help me to be poor. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Like instead of someone giving me a business idea or something where I can use my skills for or how to make money, they
Yeah.
give me things like the solutions they give me is like, the school's giving out free food.
Right.
You can always get
Gotcha.
free food. And
Gotcha.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
Gotcha.
not saying
Yeah.
I
Right.
prefer you give me a big money idea, not a
Right.
quick band-aid solution to go. You know
Right.
what I'm trying to
Right.
say? Like I want,
Right. Right. It's one
so
thing to give the solution, which is great, but then maybe what is needed along with that is, hey, would you be open would you be open to some ideas?
yeah,
Have you thought about this?
yeah,
I knew somebody that did that,
right,
blah, blah, blah. I mean,
right,
you hustle. I've known you now for a couple of years,
yeah,
especially this past year has been very, very challenging
yeah.
for you, to the point where I felt challenged. Just, I swear to God, I'm like, I don't know how she's
Because she's
doing
so
this. I have no idea how
because you
she's
know
doing.
how yeah, because you know
I
how many
felt like,
cars
oh
I
my
went
God, like
through? Yeah.
I'd be like, Yvonne, you are not even gonna like. I felt like it was me. Like you're not gonna believe what's happening with Lynn. I feel terrible. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you would produce. Like you'd be
Mhm.
like, oh, I got to buy a car, but I need this amount of money. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, hey, I did this to get that money, and now I
Yeah.
have a down payment for the car. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, is that
Yeah.
Houdini? Is this
You
real
gotta
life?
figure it out.
Like
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah. So, and you have always said that where there's a will, there's a way. You can do it.
Always.
You can't
Always.
sit and cry because, sadly, anybody that feels bad for you but doesn't give you some kind of a suggestion or a helpful hand, to get you up and out of that, so you don't stay there, that doesn't help.
Mhm.
It's funny because as a coach, one of the
Mhm.
biggest things that one of the big I offer three things. I
Mhm.
offer a system. I offer a killer accountability, right?
Mhm.
Like, right, you'll get your stuff done with me.
Mhm.
But one of the biggest things is support.
Mm.
But but we do get support. We can get it from our friends, and we can get it from our family. We can get it from our spouse. We can get it from our kids,
Right.
those that love us and want the best for us. But they always recommend things that don't really stretch us and push us to get out of the scenario that we're trying to
Right.
get out of.
Right.
Right, right, right. And
Because
so,
you're
oh
right, dude.
man,
Because like if Susan came to me and was like, Lynn, I have no money, blah blah. Of course we're gonna like. I'm always gonna help her, but I'm always gonna be like, you're a health coach. How can we expand on you being a health coach, or how can we expand on whatever it
right,
is, you know?
right. Like I don't
Um.
have any clients, or I don't
Yeah.
know how to do this, and yeah, it's like I'm a coach, but honestly, you are my
We're each
sidekick.
other's confidants. Yeah.
Totally. But it's true though. If I came to you and said that first, you'd be like, oh no, yeah, you won't let people want to. I want to tell people what it is that they need to hear, not what they
Mm,
want to hear, and that's what their family and loved ones are for, right? To
right. Right. Yeah.
coddle, to give you a net, to give
Hmm.
you a net. When my mom died, my net went with her. There was no more net. There was no more net, and
Yeah.
I seriously, these past 3 years, as a result, sometimes I feel a little guilty saying it, but as a result, I have grown in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I have completely taken off.
Yeah.
And um, sadly, though, but not sadly, I mean, it's like this freaking double-edged sword thing.
Yeah.
But I grieved through. I
Hmm.
learned to grieve through my life as I was doing things to help myself.
Yeah.
You know, because my mom gave me everything, and then she took it all away. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so many things. That
No,
come along with that.
there's no guilt in that though, because that's what your mom would have wanted, you know?
Totally,
Your
totally.
mom is like so
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
about that right now. That's how, death is it's freaking challenging. It's hard.
yeah.
But
It
I
is.
just
It
learned
is.
to
It is.
because my brother's bipolar schizophrenic, right? And my mom didn't put him in a facility because
Yeah,
that's her baby. That's her
yeah,
youngest.
yeah.
So she went through all that stress, had a stroke,
Yeah.
high blood pressure, had a stroke. But then when she passed, I was able to get him the right help and put him in a facility where he had 24-hour care, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
She'd
Totally.
still be
I do.
freaking dealing with him right now. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a way to live,
Yeah.
you know?
Like I used to, of course, I used to call my mom. Like if I had an idea about something, I would call my mom and say, "What do you think about this?" And if
Mm.
I didn't get the right response, then the idea was probably not good. Right? Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. So now
And
you're learning to just
and so
trust
now
yourself.
that
Yeah.
that go-to is not there anymore, right? So I'm on my own to figure it out. So now I'm like, hey Yvonne, can I show you something? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah. Yvonne, what do you think about this? She's a huge support system, but
Yeah.
I could very easily replace her with my mom
Yeah.
with, what I'm saying.
You just
Um,
replace that codependent
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just keep
yeah.
replacing with
So
someone
there's
else.
that tendency is probably, you know, that, that could be for another conversation. That's
Yeah, for sure.
relationship
Codependency is
stuff.
like a whole, yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
relationship stuff, relationship to everything, especially that your significant other is like, all right, you know,
And then you see, but the thing is like Susan also know when someone needs a net because sometimes you just need that. And then
yeah,
some when someone just says when you need to tell them what they need to hear. So
yeah,
you kind of have that discernment where you understand the difference, you know.
yes,
Because sometimes I would be like, I don't, I'm too hard on myself or whatever it is, which is my ultimate problem. Like I'm nitpicky and hard on myself. But then Susan knows the time to say, hey, you're doing fine, you're doing great. Don't do that, right?
yeah.
Because I'm not usually one to go to Susan and be like, boo hoo, you know.
No, you don't. You don't. You kind of you disguise your boo-hoo as more of a statement, you know, and which I find to be really kind of like, I know when the question comes in when you blow up my text messaging, and so yeah, but that's how you work it out. That's how you work
Yeah.
it out. Yeah, you work it out.
And
You
then
don't.
Susan replies with, I love the psycho stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I'd be working it out on text. I'd be like, I said this, but I shouldn't have said that. I should have said this instead. Okay,
yeah,
I'm over it. And
yeah,
Susan's like, I
yeah,
love the psycho stuff.
yeah. Totally, totally, totally. Yeah. And that's, another thing too, which is really cool about coaching is that,
Hmm.
you have this ability as a coach to put the emotional stuff to the side, because sometimes you
Mm,
do get hit with a lot of things that are very, very, very deep for people. And it
yeah.
doesn't matter what that deep stuff is, it's how it's affecting the person. And,
Hmm.
when you see the body physiology change and tone of voice because of the subject matter,
Yeah.
I have I'm thankful for this, that I have such a heart, but
Hmm.
for the purpose of helping my client, I this is right over here. I put my emotion, it's here. It's a part of how I move forward, but I don't let it. I keep it separate from how I facilitate, a session with somebody.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. You know,
Coaching, I don't know how you do it. I wouldn't, you have to have such a love for people to do that.
yeah,
Because life coaches, okay, so if you're a really good life coach, whatever, you make a lot of money. But besides that, you have to really love the people because nobody's coming back to you or referring anybody
yeah,
if you don't have a genuine love and care for
that's
people,
true. That's true.
you know? Yeah. Because,
Yeah, and for anybody that watches this or hears it, one of the first things that I do with people that are even just curious to see what coaching could be like for them, I do a discovery session. And a
hmm
discovery session is really just what we're doing right here,
hmm
talking, kind of getting to know each other, kind of seeing if our personalities jive. And then, basically I would ask, you know, some questions, what a person wants, where they want to be, maybe what's kind of keeping them stuck if they know, help
hmm
them try to figure that out. And whether we work together or not at the end of it is almost irrelevant to me. Of course, I would
mm
love to have, you know, particular people as as a client if it's a good fit. But if we didn't, but that person can walk away with a couple of gems and give them like this new perspective on, ooh, that goal that I've been putting away for a long time. Now I really understand what's been keeping me stuck. So whether they do something with it at that time or not, it's there in their file cabinet, if you will, waiting for them to then make the next move.
Right.
Where prior to that, they didn't know that that existed and that that was an issue. But now they get it. There's a new awareness. So that's the beauty of discovery sessions. At least, when people have them with me, they've been pretty outstanding. And
And you listen and you have people feel comfortable with just being who they are, And I learned at a really young age, like in my 20s, that the difference between a really good business person, let's say they're both really good with money and making money, they're making the same amount of money, right? The difference between one that you go to and one that you don't is the relationship building, Like I've told Susan this already, but I'm going to say it publicly. Like there was this one person who invited me to do a class, whatever, and then invited me to, what do you call that? Audit it or something. So then I audited, and then I was honest. Yeah, an audit. And then they followed up, which is excellent. And then I was honest and said, it's not in my budget right now, but I will keep it in mind and I'll let you know, blah, blah. They never responded. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're in business and just because someone isn't ready to take your whatever, isn't ready to spend their money on you yet, reply and say, well, thank you for your time. When you're ready, I'm here. Let me know if you have questions. That's it.
Yeah.
But just ignore them. That's so obvious that all you cared about was my money.
Yeah, and right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't want to think about the money part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want money. We all want to make money, of course.
But with the relationships, the money will come, is what it is. Like in the relationship building.
I never knew that until recently. I mean, because I had my money issues.
And
I had big time money issues. So anytime I had an opportunity to make money, or that's at least how I looked at it. I'm like, oh. Instead of seeing a person, I saw dollar signs. Like, oh, if I can only get that money, I can put that towards my rent, or I can pay this bill, or I can do this, or I need that. And then if that didn't happen, because of course it's not going to happen when you want it like that. When it doesn't happen, it then amplifies all your problems that much more. Right. Then everything's like, everything is hinging on that. And when you put that much pressure on that thing, on something, whether it's money, whether it's on relationships, whether it's on losing weight, forget it. It's not going to work out how you want it to. It's going to really, its claws are going to come out, and it's going to grab a hold of you and never let you free if you continue to approach your life like that. Yeah.
Money. I love money. Can't wait till I have a lot of it.
Yeah, you gotta let it go.
I love money. Yeah. So what is your overall summary of 2020, like in conclusion?
My big conclusion is that, what a question.
Susan's having a mini breakthrough right now because usually she doesn't like it when people see her eat. She's so classy. She's having a mini breakthrough. She's allowing people to see her eat on camera.
Yeah, right. Oh no, I am not shy at all. I am not shy. I used to work, as a quick story, I used to work for Weight Watchers Corporation, right? And when I was being trained years ago, they sent us to Chicago. That's where the training was. And so we had a night out at a Chicago deep dish pizza. So if you can imagine like a whole table full, maybe 10 women from Weight Watchers with all these deep dish pizzas in front of them, I am like, get away. I'm digging in and I'm going at it. They're like,
elbowing out of the way.
They're all like all fork and knife. It's a little
Yeah.
bite, little bite. Meanwhile, I know that they wanted to go into a closet with the pie and just jam it down
Just
their
eat it.
throats.
But remember on Zoom shows, you're always like, "Oh, I'm turning off my camera because I'm stuffing my face," and I was like,
Oh,
"Just eat. I want
well,
to
because
eat.
it's not
Nobody's
pretty.
watching you."
Well, it's not pretty. It's just not pretty. I mean, you know.
Oh, right now. Oh, because right now you're just eating little granola bars.
I'm
So
just
there. Yeah,
no, I'm
yeah.
just trying to eat like I have a bowl of tuna and a piece of toast here, and I'm just
Oh,
trying to get some sustenance before I have some
there's a
food
walk.
dreams. Yeah.
But yeah. So in
Well, my
conclusion.
summary of 2020, I have to say, my summary is that I think it was meant to happen.
Mm,
I think it was meant to happen for many reasons, unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to most of society, right? And I think I'm summarizing it as though I think it's an opportunity to take a look at how we live our life, how we look at society, and maybe change up some stuff, and you know try to, not to sound again like some namaste freak or some woo woo person, but I just feel like, look at Trump was he is a very, he's a harsh guy, or so he appears, right? And
hmm
he's like, oh, but I think for a lot of people that don't jive with that don't vibe with that, it gives us an opportunity to almost like, all right, we can't depend on this guy because he's doing things for other people. I'm not digging like the politics, right? So it kind of makes me feel like I have to just maintain a level of independence and and be creative and just create for myself my own happiness. And as far as politics go, listen, we can bitch and moan about it all we want, but if you really want to make change, then you have to vote, right? That's the opportunity that we have. But you can't just go and vote and say, I voted, it's still not going to work. No, you sometimes you got to get behind a movement, right, and get out there and do and look at Black Lives Matter. Unbelievable, just unbelievable how that started and then just kept, going and growing and became so just so amazing. I mean, I
Yeah.
went out and I marched,
Yeah.
3 marches. It was amazing. But that's what it takes to make change in your life,
hmm
and also in society. I mean, that's a, big time thing that's going on. But that's my summary. Like, you have to be independent. You have to
Mm,
take care of yourself. You can't depend. It doesn't matter. Biden's in office now. I'm not putting the man down. I'm not putting Kamala down, but they can only do so much,
yeah.
right? They can only do so much. It's really you, the individual, that has to, you have to take care of yourself. You
hmm
have to, create in your own life and not
hmm
depend on others.
For
Yeah.
sure. If
Yeah.
and when we think like that, it changes everything. Like
Yeah.
it starts with me, that changes everything, and it's not even in like it's a healthy selfish or whatever it is you want to
Yeah.
call it. It's a healthy selfish. You have to, because
Yeah.
everybody, and especially if you have kids, like your kids will model after you, no matter. It's these things will be ingrained in their head.
Yeah.
Like I picked up stuff from my parents that they didn't even verbally teach me.
Yeah.
Like my parents busted their ass and worked so hard all the time, and I picked that up just from watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my point is, if we start, like, to your point, if we start from within,
Mm.
that's just where everything starts. Everything, and like, and it
I
doesn't
think
even
so.
have to be.
I
It
think,
doesn't have
yeah.
to be magnificent all the time.
Yeah.
It's just little things,
Yeah.
little
Just take
things.
just take responsibility. That's all. Just
hmm
just own it, man. Just
Yeah,
own your stuff. That is it. That's how I feel.
yeah.
That
And at
shot
the
that Yeah,
oh, sorry, can you hear the ambulance? So
I
loud.
can. But
The fire.
I'm so used to hearing them that it doesn't phase me. I hope it doesn't phase your audience.
It's just
Yeah.
sound effects, soundtrack in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah, that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
you know what? And listen, just have fun with what you're
Yeah.
doing. Like at the end of
Yeah.
the day, just even if you have shitty days, come out of it.
Yeah.
Do your thing and then have fun with life,
Yeah. Here I'll
play.
give you I'll say this to your audience. Every day you should think about um what's gone well.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's something small, like,
Hmm.
oh, I made my bed. Oh, I paid the electric. Oh, I took a 10-minute walk. Oh, I bought something in the store that I wanted to try. I mean, all
Yeah.
those are little positive things that really do make a difference
Yeah.
in your day.
And like we really pay, that takes a lot of paying attention to. And really, I mean, we hear like the word grateful, we hear a lot too, but it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
really be grateful for the little things.
Yeah, but nobody
you
really
know?
we throw around words, man, unbelievable. Like, oh, you got
Yeah.
to communicate. In order to have a successful relationship, you have to communicate. Communication doesn't just mean talking. Communication means much deeper,
Healthy
much,
communication. Because you can
yeah,
just be fighting. That's
yeah.
communicating.
Communication means saying those things that are the most
Oh,
difficult things to say.
yeah. And
Like,
I always ask people, like, every time someone talks to me about, I don't know why people would ever talk to me about their marriage, but if they were to talk to me about their marriage, my first question is always like, do you talk about these things? Like, do you ask the question? Like, it's
that's right.
hard to say, even like, do you like having sex with me? Sometimes that's a hard question. What if the person says no, but I deal with it? That's a hard answer to
Yeah,
hear.
well, that's so funny because they'll say to you, like a friend will say to you, like, Lynn, do you think he likes having sex with me? And then you say, I don't know, have you asked him?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you're asking the wrong person. Is she in
Yeah.
bed with her? Is she in bed taking notes? I think.
Okay, there. I paused it on accident. But yeah, ask the questions,
Yeah,
especially in your relationships. But you know what? Speaking of that, the last thing I'm gonna say, because we gotta get off because you
yeah,
have an appointment. But is I'm really truly grateful that I'm single during this time. No, I really am. And this is not to knock relationships. This is
no.
just to say that I know how I am in relationships, and I know how that if I were not single, I wouldn't have written a book. I would not have
Mm,
done comedy. I would just be all about that person. We'd just be
wow.
on the couch watching Netflix and
Well,
doing
right.
these quote unquote healthy family things, like
It,
spend
it,
time together and
it,
shit.
it
But like,
takes a lot. It takes a lot
yeah.
to be it takes a lot to be in a relationship, but also there's three relationships. There's the relationship, and
Hmm.
there's your life, and then there's
Hmm.
your partner's life.
Right.
Each have loves and likes and things you want to
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
I actually find myself in that situation now. Like my girlfriend's retiring soon. I'm just starting a career.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like
Right.
what you just said.
But yeah, so I just know myself. I'd be obsessed with the person, and I wouldn't have accomplished half a quarter of the things that I accomplished during in
Yeah,
2020
yeah,
if I were to be in a relationship.
yeah,
So thankfully, I'm single, and thankfully, my son is already 4 years old now, so he's independent. Um, and just thankfully, everything is working, and I see it as it's working in my favor, even
yeah,
though sometimes the struggles are there because there's no baby daddy or whatever. But I'd rather
yeah,
struggle than to
yeah.
be with an unhealthy baby daddy.
Oh, no, no
I'd
doubt.
rather
No, no
struggle.
doubt. No doubt.
If I'm
No
gonna
doubt.
struggle, I'd rather just do it with me and my son. I don't need to add another piece of
Oh, no kidding.
struggle into
Right
my
on.
life.
I agree. I completely agree. I, I,
Yeah,
I agree. I love that. I love that thought process. I really
yeah.
do.
But
Well, very cool.
yay, 2020 is almost over. This you
2020. Yeah.
you guys.
I am looking forward to 2021, and I'm taking where I'm at right now and I'm kind of
Yeah.
gauging it. And there are some things that I want to tweak as I get closer to 2021, and some personal health goals, some personal physical goals, and then some business goals. And
Yeah.
you know, they're all moving slowly but surely. And I'm kind of looking forward to, what's going to be, what I can create. And that's it, you know.
Yay. We
Cut
look
that last
forward to
bit.
it.
I'm starting to babble again.
More of us in 2021. But thank you for
Yes.
being part of this
Awesome.
countdown to my birthday series.
Oh yes,
Yay!
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
so fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was really awesome as always, Lynn. Awesome
Yay!
as always.
All right. Have a good day. Bye, you guys. You can
Bye,
find
everybody.
Susan on
Good to see
Instagram
you.
now.
Peace.